Well, here we are. This is a 2008 Toyota Solara with a 2.4 liter. I'm going to do a valve cover gasket. So basically, you want to remove the engine cover. It's got two 10mm nuts right here on the top. You want to remove those, and then you can pull this cover up out of the way. Alright. Then next what you want to do is unbolt your coils and pick them up out of the way. What you want to do is twist them and pull them up. To remove the coils, you want to remove the 10mm head bolts that go on top of them. And then also this 10mm bolt goes right here. You want to pull that out also. So when you get the coils unbolted, you'll have to unclip this one and that one. And you push these tabs in. If they're old and brittle, they'll just snap right off. But I couldn't just pick the coils up and push them up out of the way. Didn't have enough room. But I could do that with 1 and 2. Okay, and here they are. I left them plugged in. So I just twist them and pull them up. Now that you got those out, what you want to do is get some air and blow out all the dirt and inside the spark plug tubes. We're going to do spark plugs also. And after you do that, then you want to remove this 10 for this wire harness. You want to remove this hose. Got a little spring clamp. And another hose right here, a spring clamp. And then after you get that done, you can work on all the bolts and nuts around the valve cover. All right. And you have them in the center. Awesome. And when you get that done, then you can get a screwdriver underneath here and pry the valve cover out to break its contact. Make sure you have all your bolts out. And when you're going to lift up this valve cover, you want to pry this back also at the same time. I have all my bolts from around the valve cover and inside. Those are two long ones. I also took off that one, which would equal that, to give that wire harness a little bit more room. So here's all my valve cover bolts and nuts. All right, so now I'm going to do my two hoses. To get my hose off of here, I put the clamp off to the side of the hose, got my pliers on there, and I wiggled it back and forth, and at the same time I pulled on it, pulled it right off. So I got my valve cover up. I use the screwdriver, look like that. Get underneath there, lift it up, make sure all your bolts and screws are off. And got some little room out of here. Lifted it up, pulled the valve cover over here this way. And now I'm gonna have to squeeze it out of there. And then also pull it off from underneath that plastic housing in the back for the wires. Valve cover is off. Make sure you don't have any pieces left inside it. Also, remove the valve cover gasket from the engine. Make sure you get all your pieces. Make sure you don't have any of them fall inside the engine compartment, inside the engine. If you do, make sure you pull them out of there. And then next, what you want to do is go ahead and get a rag and some brake cleaner and wipe this down. Don't spray it. Just wipe it down. Try not to get any of the dirt in there. And right on here in this spot here by timing chains is some silicone, which you put on there because it's two different pieces. You got a front cover, cylinder head. Okay, so they put the silicone in there to fill in the gap and seal it. And do the same thing over here on this side. So make sure you clean those pieces and don't have that excess piece don't fall down inside there. Make sure you get that, pull it up out of there so it doesn't fall down inside there. Same thing with any of the dirt. All right. Got your valve cover cleaned. Put your valve cover gasket in there. Make sure it sits in there perfect. Make sure it's not falling out. When you tip it over, you don't want it falling out of the valve cover. Now you got your cylinder head all cleaned up. You want to put a little bit of dab of silicone right there and right there. Okay, you can see the line between the two. That's where you want it. All right, so now we're gonna put that valve cover in there like that. And I'm gonna slowly work this harness over the corner of it over here so I can get it in there. Okay, I got the valve cover sitting like that. Make sure it's not falling out. I got it over here and I got the harness tucked under there. So now what I gotta do is straighten it out and work this harness over the top. I have the harness over the top. Now what I need to do is pick up the whole valve cover, both sides, and bring it over the studs. Okay, valve cover's on. Do a visual. Look all the way around it. Look inside your spark plug holes. Make sure you can not see them in the way. Make sure you can see them off to the sides. The valve cover I'm talking about. And look on the sides with a mirror. Make sure you see the gasket all the way around. So now you can get all your bolts started and your two nuts and snug them all down. And then you'll need to do is torque them. All right, snug up all your valve cover bolts, crisscross pattern, and then you want to torque them to 67 inch-pounds or 7 foot-pounds, okay? Make sure you torque them in a crisscross pattern. Go over it a couple times, and then you're all set. And if you get that done, then you can put your little bracket bolts back in. And you can put your hoses on. And you can put your valve covers, your spark plugs in, and then your coils. Before you loosen up your spark plugs, you want to make sure you blow out your holes. That way it blows out all the dirt that's around them, or oil or water that may be in there. So you don't want to remove the spark plug and have it all fall down inside the cylinder. All right, here's my spark plugs. Man, this is a oil burning sucker, man, right here. Look at that. Complain about oil consumption. Yeah, I guess so. Here's your new spark plugs. These are some AC Docos. Hopefully they won't fall out. But you want to double check the gaps on them and inspect your porcelains, make sure they're not cracked. So then you can go ahead and install them, snug them up, and then you need to torque them to 18 foot-pounds. Next, you want to prep your coils, get some dielectric grease, put a little dab on a little screwdriver, stick it inside here and rub it around. That'll help prevent carbon tracking. And also, rub your finger in it and rub it around the top of the boot. That'll help keep the dirt and debris and water falling down inside there. Do the same thing to the ones that you didn't unplug. So now you can put your coils in and put your bolts on them and just snug up your bolts. Okay, got your spark plugs in, coils on, your bolts snugged up, coils plugged in. You got your valve cover on, your bolts torqued. And you got your hoses on with your clamps. Don't forget that clamp. And then now you can put your cover on, which is over here. Okay, and then put your two nuts on there and snug them up. And that will complete your valve cover and spark plugs. All right. If I helped you out, that's awesome. Hopefully it can help me out by subscribing to me, and I appreciate it. Thank you.